Malasana is your yogi squat. We see it a lot as we flow, and so we're going to take some time to look at some different options to make it feel comfortable for you. We're going to start with feet a bit wider than your hips. So mine are kind of as wide as my mat. Wider than your hips, bring your hands to heart center. Now roll your shoulders back, lift your chest. Toes are pointing a little off to the side, heels slightly in. And you're going to sit yourself down, bending the legs into your Malasana, your yogi squat. Now, I'm showing you this one first, and then we'll work with some of the props. You're trying to ease your heels down towards the mat. They might not come there though, that's okay. Lift your chest, roll your shoulders back. I like to press my palms together and use my elbows to open up my thighs. Helps you to have a little lift in the chest. Take a breath here. Exhale it out. And then press your hands down to the mat, lift your hips, wiggle your feet into hip width, tuck chin into chest, and roll your way up. Nice. Now, if your heels aren't touching the ground where you're there and you feel unbalanced, you could try using a blanket. My really messily rolled blanket. I don't understand people who can roll their blankets so neatly. I'm not one. I can't do it. But what we're using the blanket for is a little ledge for our heels, so it will give you a little more height. So if you're kind of really close to getting your heels down onto the mat, this might feel a little more grounded for you, a little bit more supported. So same rules apply. Feet are wider than your hips. Lift your chest. Bring your hands together. As you sit your bum back, try and keep that lift in your chest. This time the heels are on to that rolled up blanket, and it might just give you a little more height. Keep lifting the chest. Keep rolling your shoulders back. Keep pressing your palms together. You might even lift up out of this slightly. Yeah, really lifting into the chest. And then press your palms down. Lift your hips, wiggle your feet off the rolled blanket to hip width, tuck chin into chest, and roll yourself up. Nice. Okay, final option. Now this I often come to if I haven't got so much energy, if I'm feeling like it's all a bit too much. You're sitting onto a block instead, but this is also just a good option if you're really struggling to feel comfortable in this pose at all. I'm going to do this last one facing you, but imagine that I'm at the top of my mat, feet are still hip width. I'm just going to place my block in front of me because I'll just move it as I go down. Bring your hands together, again toes are slightly out, lift the chest, and then sit yourself back. And I'm just going to bring that block on a stable height, so middle height, underneath my bum as I sit. And then use your elbows still to open out the thighs, lift the chest, sit down onto your block. Feels a lot more steady. So just go with what feels good for you, because there's no real, these are all prop based options to make it feel better in your body. Yoga's meant to feel good for us, right? It's not meant to feel super painful. And if you've got knee kind of problems and back problems, this might feel incredibly intense. So find a version that feels good for you. It's all the same, it's still doing the same thing. I'll leave you with one last thing. So Malasana, kind of typically, so that's the Sanskrit name for this yogi squat. Lots of people talk about it translating as garland pose, because mala are like mala beads that Hindus will wear and count the numbers of the beads to meditate. So that's like the kind of the more socially acceptable way. But actually, they think that the pronunciation actually means it translates as excrement squat, poop squat, because if we were going to poop, what would be the best position? And I'll leave you with that. If you like what you see, maybe not in the poop squat, subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.